Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Limitless Gaming Esports for another Road to Glory League race on a Thursday. It's our second round, and if you're good at recognising the circuits, you'll know we're at the Interlagos circuit for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and certainly one of my favourite circuits, and hopefully it will bring us loads of action this evening after this full qualifying session. As we see the Pretender put in the first lap of the day, we're a little bit late to start the session, but we've got a lot of action coming up. So the Interlagos circuit, it's 4.3 kilometres in length, 2.6 miles in length. It's a short circuit around here. We've got 36 laps to do in the 50% race, and we've got 15 corners around this circuit with the 2 DRS zones, and the first being between turn 3 and turn 4 at the end of the Senna S at the start, around the Curva do Sol, down to turn 4 at Descida do Lago, and then we've got the other DRS zone between turn 15 and turn 1, as Aki has gone quite a bit faster, about 9/10 faster than the Pretender, and is sitting from on the top of the standings at the moment. So last week we had Josh McGill winning round 2. No, we didn't, Joe. That's the wrong one. We'll get back to that in a minute. I'll just find it. But of course, we've got the 20 drivers this evening for this first qualifying session. So we'll have 5 drivers out in Q1, 5 in Q2, and then the top 10 will fight it out for the pole position. And well, of course, we're just seeing more lap times come in now. So as we do find the correct standings, we've got Chucker, who won last week, of course, last season's champion, and then we had Taylor Danny, who finished second. Third was Ginge, Racing Matt was fourth, fifth was Chuck, Vil finished sixth, seventh was Matthew, Danny Apex finished eighth, Bugatti finished ninth, and Royal Rumble finished the last in the top 10. And we've got Alfa Romeo on top in the constructors by 1 point. They've got 36. Ferrari have 35. If you're interested to see any other points in the standing or any other standing this week, go and check out the Instagram account at official_LGE, or check out the Moments of the Week video from last week, which is Moments of the Week 1. And it's at the end of the video, so just pause it there and you'll be able to see the rest of the standing. So now we've got that all sorted, Lee, and Looney Man is actually spun and just reset back to track again. I'm not sure if the game did that itself though, because it seemed like it did it rather quickly. I know there's some places around here where it does do that.
Yeah, I've had that done to me a few times in the past. I think it was it turn 13 it was. It's done it at before. Turn 12, turn 13. There's that bit where you just get too much onto the grass and it just automatically resets you. So yeah, it's a bit of a bugger in that sense, but fortunately enough there's ghosting on, so I shouldn't have too much of a bother with that, hopefully.
Yeah, so we've had just over half the field set their initial lap times, with AJ Baker not setting a representative lap time. I think we just have Racing Matt there just go through and set a lap time, so he's gone up to second. Only, what's that, 10 thousandths of a second behind?
Yep. So 100th of a second between them, so...
Yeah, sorry, hundredths of a second, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so quite close between them.
There's Herm Bowden. He's just about to finish his lap. He's not got any battery remaining. Actually now runs out as he makes his way up the hill to the start-finish line. One of the things about this circuit that's quite unique, actually, it doesn't affect you in the game, but of course we'll do in real life, is the fact that the starting grid's actually uphill. So surely they must have to keep their foot slightly on the brake. Not all the drivers, I know it levels out at a certain point, but a few grid spots you'd have to keep your foot on the brake, I assume, until you find the bite point on the clutch, because of course there will be, and then it'll hold it there. But yeah, it's a pretty unique feature actually about the circuit. I don't think there's any other like it. I don't think there is.
I think there was one, a couple of others in the past. I can't remember what one to be
Because
honest.
Portugal isn't, because Portugal sort of sits on a plateau, doesn't it? Where it goes up and then it stays like sort of on a
level.
Level. It's a technical term which I did find out a few weeks ago is a plateau is what it's called. But yeah, and then it goes back down again. But I don't know any that just go straight uphill. We did say just before we started the stream we were going to talk about it, and Lee's just seen a picture for the first time. So Mercedes really changing their concept from Monaco onwards now, which I did obviously say to you a couple of days ago on the phone that was gonna happen. They've had a big upgrades coming, which obviously was for last week, but we didn't have the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. But it looks like, yeah, it's gonna raise eyebrows, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean definitely. It was pretty obvious back. I mean, last year that this no side pod thing wasn't going to work. I mean, look at how much of a difference it was between Mercedes and Red Bull. Sorry, just straight up.
Yeah.
And you're like, why didn't they change it? Just like straight
yeah,
up
I was very surprised to see the zero side pod again this year. It really was. Obviously, it was a big mistake for them. I know you and me to a certain extent, but especially like you really did not like the Mercedes dominance. But it's I don't want to see another dominance. So I would love the 2021 season was almost perfect. I know people love the outcome at the end, but I think everyone can agree that they didn't go the right way about it right at the end, which kind of put a whole sort of what's the word? Like a shadow over the season. It was the thing that most people remember from it. But 2021 was an absolutely amazing season. Had two teams fighting. I kind of wish we had that, or three teams, or more. But unlikely to have more than three.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, even though I was getting sick of the Mercedes dominance, it was a bit bad the way it happened. I will say it did seem a bit unfair, just letting the few to unlock themselves.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, we don't really want to talk about it too much, but for everyone that doesn't know, Lee just really does not like Lewis Hamilton. For Lee to say that was actually unfair is quite a big thing for him to say. So, I mean, at the time he found it quite funny, but obviously when you stew on it in the end, from a sporting perspective, it wasn't good at all, unfortunately. But yeah, as you said, it just wasn't fair, was it? That was the thing. It just wasn't fair.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as much as I don't like Hamilton, he's a good driver. No, but
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like him, just like they now don't like Max Verstappen, because he's at the top of the parapet.
To be honest, I just
I just catch that. Where is Ginge? He's at
7.
We'll get there.
But yeah, you just almost just got a kick oversteer and just had to counter it and just went right into the wall and then burrowed himself out of qualifying.
Yeah, well, I got with my missus in 2021, and she'd never really watched Formula One before. The classic when people say, "Oh, my granddad used to have it on in the background," that kind of thing. And then when we watched the 2021 season, I was like, "You may be royally disappointed next year," because that was a one in not even a decade, really, 1 in a 20-year thing. But anyway, what I'm getting at is it's nice to see Mercedes actually trying to fight back, and as I say, I don't mind if, obviously, preferably because I especially like George Russell as well. But I know you do as well. But having either a Mercedes or Mercedes and a Ferrari, or Ferrari, whichever. I don't want to see Red Bull winning every race. I would love to see another title fight. So it's just nice to see that they look like they're going to start.
It's literally just a challenge to get third place now. That's what it is.
Yes, it's a fight for third.
It's like everybody else is in like a bloody GT3 car, and they're all in bloody the Le Mans prototype cars. Like the Red Bull, you're like, what the hell is this? There's too much of a gap.
Well, let's just hope. There might be a saving grace, actually, mightn't there? Because they're obviously going to get hindered by this R&D and development in the next few months' time coming, because obviously they're going to get the penalty from overspending in 2021. So,
Which I still think it's a bit unfair, I reckon, how they managed to keep the title through basically illegal means.
yeah. Well, I definitely I don't think they will. But if Red Bull were to do it again this year and find out that 2022 they overspent, I think the book should be thrown at them then.
Yeah, definitely. Get their bums scalped, so to speak.
I don't know what you lot do in Scotland. I don't want to know. So we've got, as we just having a bit of a chit chat. Obviously, we've had 19 drivers set times. Had Chuckle just setting another one, going into the 108.3s. Which, from actually, Lee, to be fair, in the game, from the 2021 regulations in the game, these cars aren't that much slower with equal performance. I remember a good time being sort of a low 107 in 2021, 2020. Maybe a high 106, but they're just a lot slower in the slow speed. That's where I really noticed it.
Yeah, definitely.
Not in the high speed though. The high speed's got very similar performance, I think.
Yeah, I think in the slower corners it's a bit more challenging for these cars to keep the downforce. But yeah, like you said, in the quicker corners, it's like you've sucked to the ground.
Yeah, it's just a shame this year's cars in the game I just haven't enjoyed driving them. It's just, don't get me wrong, I always have a little bit of, what do you want to call it, nerves or a bit of adrenaline, like when I start and I'm cautious. But I remember in 21 and 2020 especially, the more on into a stint I went into the race, just the more and more comfortable I felt. But I don't get that this year. I just always feel like no matter how comfortable I feel in a practice session or time trial, like trying to work on a setup, in a race, when you get a bit of fuel on board and you get tyres going off and you're racing people, these cars just aren't good in a game, unfortunately. That's my opinion anyway. I know other people probably think differently.
No, well, even like people such as like Lando Norris and Max Verstappen and everything have actually said that the game isn't realistic compared to like last year's cars, for instance.
Yeah.
But with the new game that's just a way to come out, they've worked a lot closer with the teams and drivers to try and get a more authentic feel for the cars. So
yeah, well,
it's just going to be a lot better.
Like, I love the. You haven't played it, I don't think, so you can't really give an opinion on it. But I've got the Assetto Corsa game, the new one, the Compatrione or whatever it's called. And that feels like a hybrid between something like this and the game mechanics and something more like Project Cars, which is like pretty much like a real simulator, just like, it's sort of right in the middle. And that's why I want this F1 game to kind of go, not hardcore, so people on controllers can't really play it, but just sort of somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Because, even though the handling's changed, the game does. I don't know if you agree, it does feel a little arcadey sometimes, especially this year's game.
Yeah, I will agree. It is a bit.
I know it is a game, they've not called it a simulator, they've made it very clear on that. There is a big difference. But, yeah. I'm also surprised, actually, as we'll talk about the bottom five, just last point, that I haven't seen an actual standalone like Formula E game or an IndyCar game. I'm really surprised that we've never seen that.
Well, see, which is currently free on PlayStation Store right now, is Grid Legends. And you actually get Formula E cars on that, like with like the attack mode sort of bitty and everything.
Oh, cool.
And I've actually been playing it now and again, and it's actually quite good. Like, there's even an option for modifiers to like add the ramps and around when you're doing like the trucks and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's quite cool, that. So we've had the Pretender and Faulkner see the checkered flag, so they're both going to be out in the first part of qualifying. We've got Looney Man coming to the line. He's safe for now. I think he may be safe full stop, actually.
yeah.
I think he is, because it's only Perm Bowden who's not having a good time of it.
Bugatti went and pushed Vil down.
Oh, I didn't see that one. So yeah, Bugatti's got through as well. So that looks like that's the end of qualifying, the first part of qualifying. With Perm Bowden not going quicker. He's literally lifted off and just rolling into the pit lane. So that's your bottom 5, ladies and gents.
I literally just noticed that Bugatti, who's in Aston Martin, pushed out Vil
In the other.
Team.
Yeah.
Great team play. Unfortunately, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, that actually happened. I'll tell you this very, very quickly. Or I'll tell you after you've done that. Actually, I'll let you do the standings first.
Cool. So, when we run down for Q1 here, if it goes... Oh my god, Jesus Christ, I forgot that I've got a PS4 for a minute.
All right, I'll do it then. We've got Matthew in, who came first, Chuckle second, third was Ginger, Jackie was fourth, and Racing Matt was fifth. The 5 drivers we're losing, or 6 drivers, should I say, actually, with AJ Baker, Vil, Kieran, the Pretender, Faulkner, and Perm Bowden.
It literally didn't even come up.
Oh,
what the hell?
You need to invest in a PlayStation 5 then, my friends. As we get into the second session, just to let you guys know, I had a really a nice thing happen today for the channel. We reached 300 subscribers. We've been doing the channel now for quite a while, about almost 2.5 years, so it took a little while just to get to 300, but quite proud of it anyway. And the other thing is, if you didn't watch last week's race in Belgium, it was mixed conditions, a little spoiler. If you haven't watched it and anyone's watching who isn't racing, or if you are racing, please watch it. Took me a little bit of time. Just go and watch it. It's about a 6-minute highlight video from last week's race, and then you'll get another one on Monday, and either tomorrow or Saturday, just depending on when the standings will be done, we will have the moments of the week video for this week. So those will be the top 5 moments from all 3 days. So yeah, Lee, what I was going to say was talking about knocking out teammates. When I was watching the Indy 500 qualifying, right at the very end, which apparently doesn't really happen. It's not. I don't watch Indy 500 qualifying very often. I think it's only second or third time I watched it. They usually do a run, and then because they've been going, 230 odd miles an hour for 4 laps, the engines get quite hot, as you can imagine, as an average speed. So usually they have to come in for like 20 minutes and cool the engine down to get the horsepower back, because it starts losing it. But this guy called Jack Harvey, who was a British driver, who was down in 34th place. The grid is 33 cars, and they were fighting for the final row of the grid, these 4 cars, and him and his teammate, he was 34th and his teammate was 33rd. He'd done one run and didn't do enough with his average speed, because that's how they calculate your runs, an average speed over 4 laps. And then he literally came back in the pits, just sat there for 2 minutes, went straight back out, and then he beat his teammate by like 0.2 of a mile an hour or something. It was amazing to watch. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a massive IndyCar fan. I watch it now and again because the racing is quite good, but that was actually amazing. I loved it.
I'm not going to lie to you, would be absolutely spewing.
But the rule is in qualifying as well, which is really interesting, but also really harsh at the same time. So the bottom 4 get an hour in total to do their laps, and they go out in a specific order at first, but then the driver who's last gets the next opportunity to go, but there's no regulation of what time he can go. So he can go at the very last minute with a couple of minutes left on the clock, and if he beats them, the other person can't respond. That's it, they're out.
It's a bit dirty, but it's good at the same time. It's
And sorry,
very situational.
the other thing he did, this Jack Harvey, because he was at the back, the other rule is, so if you set an average speed, you see Matty take the first lap time of this Q2 session, and Royal Rumble beats it by 0.4 of a second. The other interesting thing about the qualifying is if the last driver, the 34th car, wants to go back out again, just to do a couple of laps, to do a cool down lap, to cool the engine, try and cool the engine at slow speed. Their lap time, their average speed gets deleted from their first run. So any driver can do that, but then they take the risk of losing their time. Well, they will lose their time, and then they still can't go yet because they originally set a faster time than the person in 34th place. So this 34th place car has got all this advantage where they can just drive around and cool the car down when others can't do it, and then go out with 1 minute to go. Just obviously like Formula One, if they start their four lap attempt before the checkered flag goes, they can finish it. So they go out with about a minute to go.
That is just... That's fucked up. I'm gonna say it. Like...
It's cruel, isn't it? But do you want to know something else that's really interesting about that whole qualifying session?
Is it going to break my brain?
No. Luckiest man in the world. I can't remember the name of the driver who was knocked out. Oh, Danny Ray Hall or something like that. Someone else broke a couple of vertebrae in their back in qualifying the day before.
Right.
But they got through, but they broke their back, so they can't participate. So his car's been knocked out, and the 34th car's now in at the back.
I was lucky.
Yeah, how lucky is that?
Well, I'm no lucky for the guy that broke his vertebrae, but lucky for driver 34 then. But it seemed profits just went up.
Graham Rahal, that was his name. Graham Rahal. Yeah, I'm assuming you never watch IndyCar, do you?
No.
Okay. Anyway, that little lesson about another series, another open wheel series. Because of course the Indy 500's up this weekend as well as the Monaco Grand Prix. It is probably one of the most iconic weekends for racing, I'd say. Actually, probably the most iconic weekend for racing. Because usually the Monaco Grand Prix and the Indy 500 fall on the same weekend.
Oh yeah, so they do. Honestly, I just remember one time it was when Alonso and Button went and took over his seat at McLaren. He was like,
yeah. Said he was going to pee in his seat.
Exactly. I was like,
yeah. Because that's when I first started watching the Indy 500 because of Fernando Alonso. I was really interested to see how well he would do, and I quite like how mad it is, but it's just a bit too long. Like I can watch the first bit. I'll watch the first third, and then I'll turn it over for a bit, and then I'll come back for the last third of the race, because otherwise it's just too long. It's like a 3-hour race of people just going around in circles. No offense to any Americans in this league that love the Indy 500. I get why you love it. It's an amazing thing, but a bit long for me. If it was like a normal F1 race, I'd probably watch the whole thing.
I mean, in all honesty, everybody only watches that just because of the crashes. I'm gonna be honest.
They do have spectacular crashes. Some of the overtakes as well, when they go around the outside, on the oval, that's quite impressive. Mm-hmm. And when they sort of slipstream each other, and you see this massive snake effect going down the straights, where everyone's because obviously no. What was that? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying shake and bake.
Shake and Bake. Oh yeah, of course. Talladega Nights, one of the great films. So as we start talking about other open wheeled series and pop culture films. I don't know. A bit of a cult film, I suppose. Talladega Nights, as we go across the line with Bugatti, 117. So I think he was on a cool down, going for another attempt. And to sort of merge the two open wheel series. That's one of the reasons why I love that Sakir Outer Loop circuit, because I felt like that was our version of an Indy 500. It's like a Formula One version.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was essentially like an oval, but just with like a wee bit of a twist, I would say. With just like a couple
Yeah,
of
it just had the
corners.
perfect amount of braking zones with long straights.
Yeah,
But of course,
definitely.
I don't know if you know. I'll find out for you after the stream. Actually, I'll send you a picture of it. There was a street circuit in Germany in the 1950s that was basically up one end of a motorway. Then it went basically round a roundabout, 180 degrees back the way we came. Went down the other side of the motorway, went around another roundabout, and back up again. that was the circuit. Looked like a dog bone.
Weird. Essentially reminds me of that special
Dangerous.
Circuit X on, I think it's Special Circuit X or something, on Gran Turismo. It's just basically a straight line.
Oh, what? Like the motorway one?
Yeah, essentially just two straight lines we
Yeah, it was
big
basically
mark
like
on the
that.
edge.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, in the 50s, that was quite dangerous.
Oh yeah. So,
We've got just under 6 minutes to go. And of course, we
we've
did lose
played a lot of
AJ
rubbish.
Baker.
Wait a
And we did
minute.
lose. Yeah?
Why is there only 14?
You didn't hear what I said, did you? AJ Baker crashed out, so he started 15th.
Oh,
So we lost 6 drivers in Q1.
oh right.
So Matthew
This
Hearn's
is
already retired. We've got quite a few drivers in the mid to low 108s. Quite a few of them. There's 3/10 between second and 9th place.
Yeah, I was just noticed that they're really close between them. But we're just waiting right now.
Just waiting for Royal Rumble to finish
Chucks out.
his next attempt. He did a 109 flat last time out, and he's a 10th down on his first attempt, but he hasn't got enough time to get in the pits, put some fresh rubber on, or maybe not, as he's now sliding at the curb to Seoul and into the advertising hoardings. As he reverses back on to the circuit. And we've got the two McLarens coming out quite early. I wonder if one is giving the other a tow, Lee.
Quite possibly. I mean, it will be a bit more effective here than at such tracks like Monza, for instance, with there being so much.
You say that
downforce.
though, but I think that's one of the only ways you can, if you don't feel like you're the quickest, it's one of the only ways you can get on pole actually. Slipstreaming at Monza.
Yeah, I mean
down the back straight. I mean down towards the parabolica.
fair enough, but it's not going to have as much effect at like a track like Monza, with them already running such a low amount of downforce compared to like tracks
Well,
like
this year's game, I think pretty much everyone uses 0-0 actually in Monza. I think if you don't, you're a little bit of a dafty. Hopefully they change that for this year. I hope you can't do. I don't get why they even put a 0 in. That doesn't actually make any sense. Because if it was 0, you just wouldn't have a wing on it.
Exactly. If you like things, you should put a wing on it.
Anyway, 3 minutes to go. We got Lee Man on. I don't want to be giving ourselves moments of the weeks just by our commentating. Again, that was a one-off last week. If you haven't watched it, at least watch number 1. I was a bit biased for giving the number 1 spot, but it was funny.
It was quite, I will say that. So, see here. Listen, Matt, is he coming? He's on an out.
We've got Looney Man just making his way around the final corner of Young Cow. Well, there is a couple more corners after that, but the last real corner on the circuit. So if you just wait to see him cross the line, he does go faster, but only by half a tenth. As Danny Apex crosses the line, he goes faster, but only by half a tenth as well, or just over half a tenth. 0.055 of a second.
Yep, so the drivers that are in the drop zone at the moment, James Taylor, Danny, Royal Rumble and the Looneyman, they're all going to have to improve on their times. The Looneyman, is he going to have time to be able to get back into the pits? Oh no, he's just going again.
I think he has. Aki's just crossed the line, so he's gone third fastest.
Just thinking.
So yeah, I think Looneyman will be going. Again, he's going very slowly actually. Oh, sorry, I was just took the pause there to look how much fuel he had on board. It does. This is when it says one, that means 1 lap, but I think on certain tracks you can actually use a little bit less than 1 lap, which sounds a bit odd. We've got Danny Apex just ahead of his teammate. I'm not sure if he's going again. He's got the fuel to go again. And he lets his teammate go past because he's waiting just to charge up the battery, as we know. Giving it full throttle in neutral. Bit of a hack to get your battery up, if people learned a little late on in this game, because we've only got a few weeks left of this game till we go to F1 23, and that will happen with a short 1 week mid-season break. So watch Danny Apex start his final attempt. We've got 30 seconds left on the clock. And I think that could be Ginge, who's just finished his lap and goes on to the front row in Q2 into that first place position, getting into the 107s for the first time today. So I think we might have Taylor Danny, who's up next, and the checkered flag just falls as he crosses the line and stays 11th, so he's going to be out, as well as Bugatti, as well as Royal Rumble. So Massey's still in danger. He's up on his time though. Looneyman has now spun, so he's not at all now. So we've got our bottom 4 in this session. Is Matty Jones enters the pits. Don't know if he knew he spun. As Danny Apex is also safe, so his teammate is out, along with Taylor Danny, Bugatti and Royal Rumble. So I'm not sure, Lee, if Ginge was... Oh yeah, sorry, he came third last week. So if you didn't watch that video, check it out on the channel. It will be in the Thursday tier highlights playlist. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. And as I said, Moments of the Week will be out tomorrow or Saturday. It'll depend weekly just on when the admins can get the standings out, because obviously you put the standings at the end of that video for you at the end of the week to keep you up to date as early as possible. It'll also happen on the channel as well. So Lee, I'll let you handle this one. You might be on mute, Lee.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, I was just busy there. But yeah, seeing Ginge managed to get that right in at the end, pipping in with a 107.8, nicely done. Coming home in first place and going through it. Matthew, Chuck, Aki, Chuckle, Lee Craig, Prof, Racing Matt, Danny Apex and Matty Jones. Ain's been eliminated, Taylor, Danny, Bugatti, Slovan, Royal Rumble and Looneyman. So, then there were 10.
I like that. Then there were 10. And we are usually in both days. Obviously, in Monday we don't have full qualifying, it's short qualifying on that day. And I think on Monday as well, when we're in Australia, I think it's a sprint race. Not sure. I'll double check, but I think it's a sprint for Monday. So we haven't seen that in RTG. I don't think we've ever seen that in RTG, actually. Sprint format. Not sure. So only 10 drivers remaining. And like yesterday, Lee, this is one of those circuits where you probably would have enough time to do 3 laps, especially if you messed up the first.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also, I think it's not beneficial as well to possibly do 2 warm-up laps to drain a wee bit of the fuel out with the track being so short.
But then you've got to balance the tyre wear, don't you? See, I don't
Oh no,
usually.
that's what I'm saying.
See, I know you do that. You've done that quite frequently, haven't you? Do the 2 out laps and then go for your fast attempt. But I kind of feel like the tyres are better in shape than the fuel being that just like 1 kilo lower. But each to their own. So everyone's got their own preference.
Yeah, true. I mean, I find getting the tyres up to temperature a bit slower and just taking it a bit easier works a bit more beneficial for me. But like you said, everybody's got their own sort of style that they prefer.
Yeah.
So let's see, Lee Craig's coming around turn 12 and 13 now. He's coming on to start his lap. He's going to be the first one to start, so he's going to be setting the benchmark.
So we've got Lee Craig up first. Then we have Matthew. Then a Alpha Tauri, so that'll be racing Matt. And then the Haas of Matty Jones. Got 3 Matts all running nose to tail at the moment in qualifying. And then we have a Mercedes, that'll be Aki. And then we've got a little while to wait for the 2 Ferraris. So who was up first? It's Lee Craig. Oh, sorry, no, one of the Ferraris is already on the lap, but it's Chuck who will be the next car. As we're just on board with the Ferraris. He makes his way round Mugello, turn 11, and into Yonkau, which is the final braking zone of the lap. And then we blast our way uphill to the start-finish line, to the timing beacon, and we'll see what time Lee Craig will set for the rest of the top 10 to do. He does a 107.9. That was a very good lap for his first attempt to get that in the bag. We've got Matthew up next, and he's done a 108 dead, and then racing Matt goes in third place with a 108.3. We've got the Haas of Matty Jones up next, 108.9, so I'm sure he can do quite a bit better than that. Aki's up next.
So it's sitting at P4, 108.6. Notice how close it is between Matthew and Lee Craig, only 53 thousandths of a second between the two of them. We've got Chuckle, who's just bearing around turn 11 now. And at 12, the final braking zone. Now it's just a foot to the floor. Final stretch to the line. See what time the Ferrari man's going to be able to do. DRS is going to be wide open right now. That rear wing reducing as much drag as possible. He only manages to get it into P4 with a 108.470. Got Prof just on the final stretch to the line now. See what the Mercedes man's going to do. What time is he going to be able to put in? Across the line, the 109.4. No, he's got a lot more in him, I could tell, definitely.
Yeah, Ginge up next. Took the first spot, now takes provisional pole with a 107.8. So another very good banker lap for the first attempt.
Yep, now we've got the sister Alfa Romeo now, coming across the line. See what he's going to do. Goes P2, 107.976. Oof, just 21 thousandths.
It's an all white red front row at the moment. And it's an all Italian top 3 actually.
Yep.
So just waiting for Danny Apex to come out for his run. He may be only doing one run now, as we've got just under 7 minutes left on the clock. I think it's getting a bit too late now to do the 2 runs on 2 sets of tyres.
Yep, most likely. So, I guess this is going to be just chill out now. The calm before the storm, so to speak, when everyone's coming out.
Sorry, Lee. Prof went again and has moved up to 5th with a 108.2. As I said, that's the beauty. He stayed out, but he has enough time there to do 3 laps. I think he may have given up with the time that he did set on that first attempt. He may have backed out of it just to charge the battery back up a little bit, but he's putting in a decent banker to do one more attempt on a fresh set. But as we say every week, Wednesday and Thursday, it's now the calm before the storm. But we've only got 3 drivers in the 107s, 2 of them in the 107.9s, and only just over a tenth and a quarter behind Ginge.
Pure sweaty, like.
It is a bit of a sweaty one, isn't it? It's a bit of a... they're getting a bit of a sweat on, aren't they? I'm sure they are. So now Prof...
Especially these top 4, like how close they are between each other right now.
The one thing I do like, it's only a little thing that just makes it just feel that little bit more real. I know it's not, I know it's a game. Is the fact that these drivers, a lot of them, especially when they get into the top 10, they all sort of all go out in sync, like real life. As soon as one go out, they all go. So, in some ways, that's easier for us as commentators to kind of work out where everyone is, because they're all sort of in a line. We just got to work out the line. But when drivers, especially in Q1, kind of go out, some go out at the start, some wait 3 or 4 minutes, it's a bit more difficult for us to work out who's on a lap, who's on an in lap, not an out lap, of course, but some tracks we've noticed has timing glitches.
And who's on an interlap?
Yeah. So, as you said, not really got anything to discuss on track at the moment. Ginge on the top spot, as we said, on provisional pole. And of course, which I do seem to forget most weeks, but I haven't on this Thursday, is of course we get the extra point for pole. So we've got 4 minutes to go, and I think that...
Matty Jones.
Was it Matty? Well, there was a... Prof has gone straight out as well.
Ooh.
Prof is already out. You say Matty Jones is coming out as well?
Yeah, it was a Haas. 2 seconds.
Oh, it doesn't look like he has actually come out, as Aki now follows his teammate. So we should start to see that chain reaction. I've got a feeling maybe Prof has gone for that, getting some of the fuel out and doing 2 out laps, 2 slow laps before doing his final attempt, because they've got the time on the board to be able to do it. But maybe they just want the clear track as well, because it is a short circuit here. And as I said, we will be doing the 36 laps, which is the highest for a 50% race, apart from Monaco, which is 39, I believe. And of course, we've got that this weekend. I'm not going to be watching, actually, for the first time this season. I'm going to be sat down on Sunday watching the Grand Prix. I'm going to be at Alton Towers on Sunday. It's the only race of the season that I'm prepared to miss.
See, me, I think that it's going to be quite a good one, as I don't expect Red Bull to be as dominant as it has been for the start of the season, because it's not really a top speed dominant car. So I would say it's more the technical, which is more suited to like the Aston Martins, I would say.
Yes, yeah, potentially. we'll have to see. The one thing I did think of was it earlier or yesterday, and Jodie just shook her head when I said it. I was like, it'll be all right. I'll be like, we'll have to wait in a queue for like half an hour for a ride. So when we're waiting, I'll just watch the race on my phone.
Yeah.
And as you've
why
met
not?
him, Lisa, you know, I'm going with Andy as well. I'm like, he likes
Mhm.
F1. It's fine. We'll just stand there and watch it together.
Exactly. What's wrong with that?
I'll put my phone back in my pocket when I go on the rides.
Yeah. Make sure it's zipped up though, as well.
Yeah, or jeans. Jeans are fine.
Yeah, true.
Jeans are fine-ish. Yeah. So, have we got Prof on a lap? I think he's already done. I think he's done one, and he's going to charge up the battery now and go again. So I think he did go a little bit faster. He went a tenth faster. So sorry, we've been talking about all sorts, and we haven't been keeping up with the action. Sorry, we haven't been doing our job very well tonight. I must admit. Lee Craig, 107.9, but I feel like he's going again now. We've got 45 seconds left on the clock. Danny Apex hasn't set a lap and is retired. Interesting.
That's curious. Very curious.
So we got Matty Jones now just starting a lap, getting a little bit confused because of the lap time. So we're going to have to try and work out with 23 seconds left on the clock. I think Racing Matt is on a lap, and it will be his final attempt. He'll make the line before the checker flag comes out. Will he go faster? He does. Goes on to the front row with a 107.865. I think we're going to have the Alfa Romeo of Chuck up next. And he's 2/10 up on his lap time. He's just coming to the pits.
Yep.
Very strange.
Yeah, this is wide open, final stretch to the line, and
oh, is he invalidated? He went way too 3D over the pit lane entry, and his chuckle as Ginge goes fast and gets a toe off that Ferrari, and he's moved himself further ahead in terms of lap time. But we've just got a few more drivers to go, 2 more drivers to go. As Racing Matt comes towards the line now, he is up on his time, but he stays in 9th place as Matthew comes to the line now. He's on pole for the Brazilian Grand Prix with a 107.705. It's 1,000th of a second between Matthew and Ginge. Wow. Mr. Saturday has done it once again.
By less than a ball here. Jesus Christ, man.
And I think we've already found our first moment of the week from Brazil.
So, we quick rundown there. We got Matthew just pipping Ginge at the very last minute there. Ginge getting P2, Racing Matt P3, Chuckle P4, Chuck P5, Lee Craig was 6th, Prof 7th, 8th is Aki, Matty Jones 9th, and Danny Apex did not settle up. So, now we're moving on to the main event. Is Matthew going to manage to keep it together this time?
Yeah, well, it's been a forever trend since we've started commentating on Matthew. Hopefully, his streak of bad luck in spins is going to stop, because otherwise, sooner or later, I'm going to have to start calling him Mazza Spin. And so hopefully last night we had someone ready up straight away. We don't know who it was, we can't see that. But this time it looks like everyone's behaving themselves and waiting for the admins to give the go-ahead. So we've got 30 seconds left to go now. I think that might have been a bit quick, but anyway, they've only got a small amount of time to sort out their tyres and their fuel this usually is a place where we do see safety cars quite a bit. It's one of the reasons why this race can be so good. Probably, as we always see, which is a bit of a shame these days with the current era in Formula One, is the tyres. We're just seeing medium hards every week. There's not really. Yesterday we had a bit of a change up. We had mostly medium tyres. If you haven't watched that race, go and check it out from last night at Zandvoort. That was a mixed conditions race as well. We had 2 on the bounce, as well as this predecessor, round 1 in Belgium, and that was the other one that was a mixed.
Yeah, I would say that was quite an interesting race, to be honest. It was bad enough it was Zandvoort alone, but then adding in rain, and that really changed up the grid quite a bit, I would say.
Yeah.
Compared to usual.
I think we just had a comment in there talking about some more content on the channel, but I just didn't catch it and he stayed up for a second.
From Reflector01 saying, "Hey Joe, awesome to see more content here on LGE. Hope it's a great race. Hello to Lee as well."
Oh, thanks very much.
Or, yes. Alright to you too.
Hopefully you'll be sticking around for the race. What was his tag? His ID?
Reflector01. Oh, it's Jonah.
Ah,
Right.
Oh, Jonah, hope you stick around, bud, to watch along. If anyone's watching and you haven't already, and you like World Endurance Championship cars, please check out this man's channel, Formula Jonah, and subscribe to it. He has some great content, and he still has a little cameo in the league. I don't know if he's watching the videos. He's the guy that asked you to subscribe to the LGE channel at the end of the video. But yeah, go and check out his channel. It's Formula Jonah, Jonah, I think. So please sub to his channel. Anyway, so we've got 36 laps to go. Ginger's been disqualified, so he's going to be set back, as well as Matthew as well. So that gives Racing Matt a great opportunity at the start as we wait for Pern Bowden and then Faulkner, his teammate. We've got an Alpine back row for this Grand Prix. As we get ready to get underway, we've got an awful camera view as usual. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we're away for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Thursday tier of Road to Glory, as we see Racing Matt get that brilliant start, moves up into second place. Matthew holds on to the lead for the time being as we go into the Senna S, with the Ferrari trying to go up the inside of Racing Matt, but has been squeezed out. Now side by side with Ginge as they go through the Curva de Sol and down the Reta Reposta before we get to the Descida del Lago, and as we go through that corner, Ginger's up the inside at turn 4 and moves up back on to the rostrum, but of course we're only on lap 1, and as we go a bit further back, Royal Rumble trying to go up the inside of the McLaren at turn 6, Ferragura, and now as we go into turn 10, once again, Lee, from last night on quite a narrow circuit, very well behaved on the first lap.
Yep, I will say that, although I did see a couple of people having to even just jump off the track a little in order to avoid colliding with someone, but yeah, very well behaved from the grid here today.
As the 2 McLarens are going side by side at the back of the field, it's almost looks like I've gone back in time with Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso, as Pern Bowden has dropped a position to his team. I need to turn that microphone thing off. Once you finish streaming, remind me to turn that microphone thing off that keeps happening on my TV. It's so irritating.
Oh, is it that?
Yes, it's that. Yeah, because it cuts off our audio for a second. I don't know why it does it, because it's supposed to be the PS word that sets it off, but it likes to do it whenever it wants, basically.
Yeah, you can. Honestly, I thought my internet was cutting out there.
Oh, it's Vil, and as Jonah was talking, we didn't actually talk about it. It was medium hards across the board, pretty much a 50-50 split. Apologies that we didn't do that as usual. As we go on to lap 3, DRS is enabled, and Matty takes the fastest lap. Then Chuckle snatches it away from him with a 110.7. So DRS is enabled, and Ginge getting ever closer as we go into the curve, as we go into Decido Lago, and he's run the Alpha Tauri off the road and moves up into second place.
Ooh, seen this battle here between Lee, Craig and Chuck. They've already drained their batteries and squeezed the life out of them. They've already got their red lights flashing. They're battling out, and it was like nearly contact there coming out of turn 6.
They're all very close together in that midfield fight. And as we go on to the start-finish straight, with the drivers at the front, all look like they're running quite low downforce leads. No one being able to get close to one another. I know a load of them have got DRS now, and we've got a huge DRS train for the time being. As you say, that Chuckle looks like he's got a nice run out of the Curva de Sol. As we go down the Reta Reposta, it looks like Racing Matty's going to try and defend the inside, which he does successfully, and holds on to that third place for a few more corners at least. Now we've seen battles towards the back. Vil going up the inside of Racing Matt's teammate, the Pretender, who's down in 20th and last at the moment.
Yeah, I've just seen AJ Baker also get past Danny Apex going into turn 4 there. So well done for the Williams driver there. So I'm thinking, is Triple getting ready to set up a move here into turn 4? I don't think he's close enough, as this might have the DRS off a Ginge ahead.
Sorry, I just had my mic on mute. I didn't realise for a second. As we see Royal Rumble. Oh. And then behind them as well, we've got AJ Baker, who crashed out in qualifying, now up into 13th place. It's 14th and 15th for the McLaren duo.
Now it's only the Red Bull of Royal Rumble that separates these two Williams here. In a bit of a Williams sandwich right now. Place where he doesn't want to be is he's got does have the tyre advantage right now, but that ain't going to last too long.
As we've got a yellow flag, that's Danny Apex that spun out of Magello, turn 11, and between turn 12, Young Cal. He's got himself back on the circuit again, but he's right down on at the back of the field now, as we see Aki spin at turn 1, between turn 1 and 2 at the Sun RS, and he's trying to get himself facing back in the right direction again. And he's now down in 16th place. The thing that hurts you right at the start of the race is spinning out, as the pack is usually still quite close together, and it really can make you drop like a rock. As you see Faulkner looking at the inside, but he wasn't anywhere near close enough to be alongside as we went into turn 4.
Yeah, I will say, if you're spinning at the start, it does, and you're losing so many places, it sort of brings your morale down a little, like morale, sorry, and just feel a bit crap, pretty much. Lose a bit more motivation, I would say. Chuckle is going for the move on race right now, along the start-finish straight with the aid of the DRS, and he finally gets it done, as Ginge has managed to be able to pull away from that second gap. between him and Alpha Tauri. Now Choco is going to be chasing down the Alfa Romeo ahead. So you could just see them in the straight distance there. Now Lee Craig, Choco's teammate, is having a go and looking for any which way past Ginger's teammate, Chuck.
So the field quite close still. Chuck just has a bit of a misbehaving rear end as he went through turn 9 on the short dash to turn 10 as we go through Mugello and into the final corner as Chuckle is taking chunks of time out of the two leaders ahead.
Well, he's doing well to keep racing Mark behind him. Oh. Steve Faulkner just make up a place there, I think. Aki, sorry, and Faulkner, I think. Oh, Aki nearly spin that at turn 2 there. Turn 3, sorry.
I didn't catch that, unfortunately. So the top three, Lee, pretty much separated by identical times. So it looks like we've got a three-way fight for the lead. Well, four-way fight really is. Racing Matt is still within DRS of Chuckle.
Ooh, Van Boon getting a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to aid him in any way in this race, because he's already down at the back. Oh, who's that? It's Winnie Man.
Just dropping down the order, just finishing off his Royal Rumble, trying to go up the inside on those medium tyres against the hard tyre. He should have the superior grip at the moment as we go up to Furigella.
I think I think the unfortunate thing for some of these drivers right now is they've used up a lot of their battery, so they're not getting that added boost that they'll be needing.
Sorry, Lee, just bear me.
Yeah, those are all good. But we're still seeing it from 5th all the way down to 9th. They're still in this train, all within a second of each other of the car ahead.
And Chuckle now going to be causing Ginger a bit of a hindrance now. As soon as he's... I'm not sure. I just think Chuckle went into sweat mode, I think. So actually, Jonah, are you still watching the stream? I can see the comments. It's just that one didn't come up just for a second. We'll wait and see if Jonah responds.
Boom.
Yeah, I don't think he's here. As Chuckle getting ever closer to the back of that Alfa Romeo. He's not going to go for it into turn 1. Probably a better idea actually to go for it into turn 4 as you make our way around turn 3, the Curva de Sol, and down the Retta Raposta.
As he's now moving to the inside.
Oh, almost make contact there. I think he got away with that. I think that was a pretty decent overtake, actually, from Chuckle. Ginge just sort of had a bit of a wobble, I think, mid-corner. Because I don't think he pushed him wide. He left him space.
Now this battle on this allowed racing Matt to be able to catch right up to the back of these two and be able to challenge for the second place.
Yes.
Now bearing in mind Chuck and the rest of the down to 9th are only about 3 seconds off racing Matt ahead, so it's not that far of a distance. So these guys are still in it as well. Oh, you see Chuckle and Ginge swapping places again. Oh, and seen that wee cheeky break there from Chuckle, making sure he's going to get the DRS.
Well,
Has he got better straight line speed? It doesn't look like it, but he's going to...
No.
Like,
But
against it.
He's almost pushing him through turn 1, though.
Yep, he was, and it looks like Chuck is managing to get past away Craig also. Sector 1, yellow flag, that's McLaren. Oh, and Aki also. That's Aki and Danny Apex, who were both around different places, one at turn 1 and one at turn 3. I'm seeing like Craig here, he looks like he's going for a move on Chuck now. He's managed to get right past him and he's going to have the DRS. I think Chuck was hoping to be able to get the DRS from him, but now Cross is coming in strong. Is he going to go for a move? No, he decides to break that a wee bit earlier.
There's Matty Jones, though.
Oh.
Just trying to go around the outside of Profit. The centre S on turn 3 as we go through the curve of the Soul, but Prop has now got the DRS and he's going to try and fight back as we watch from the rear of Matty Jones's Haas. And as we make our way around turn 4 and 5, there's definitely a few battles brewing up now, Lee.
Oh yeah, definitely. It does help with all these drivers being quite close to each other as well. And they're all fairly matched, which is quite a nice thing, I will say.
Yeah.
We've seen Chuck, is he going to be coming?
Oh, we've got the safety cars deployed.
Yes, safety car.
It certainly is. So that's made it interesting. We're on lap 14, and Lee, I have to say, I haven't looked at the lap counter for a long time, but those 14 laps have gone really fast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, you notice there Matthew and Ginge fortunately just managed to get past the safety car there before it came out into the pits. So yeah, the guys are not going to be able to pit just yet. They're going to be jumping into the pits in a minute, if anything.
Yeah, well, for the medium, I think the people on the hards have got to do it as well, actually. I think it's probably a bit too far along in their stint now.
Fast.
Double soft?
No, their softs will be used up from qualifying.
Not all of them. Depending on who it was. I know the drivers who were in the bottom 5 are sort of still down the bottom half. So Matthew and Ginge and Chuckle and Racing Mats. So we'll get the tyres back up to refresh our memories. So Taylor Danny is coming in. He's on the hard tyre as Lee Craig is just pit. Matthew goes on to the hards. All of these drivers go on to the hard tyre. Now here comes Lee Craig, and I think the Delta would have gone now, so he'd be free to race up to the safety car. Lee Craig, sorry, and he's not going to beat the drivers ahead, but I think it does the Delta, so you don't beat them, because then you kind of have an unfair advantage of where the safety car came out. So pretty much everyone have put on brand new tyres, Lee. I think pretty much, apart from Looney Man, who's on 4-lap old parts. But as you said, are the mediums going to last to the end? They've got to do 20 laps. It's doable.
I remember the strategy here in previous games was medium soft.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it was a little hack we both loved to use. I don't know how many drivers remember that, the medium soft hack, because it said medium hard, and you could do a medium soft, and it was faster, quite a bit faster as well. I thought it was like 5 or 6 seconds, I think. And it just doesn't give it you as a strategy. It doesn't say that tyres will last, but they do. But you have to look after. But you have to look after them through certain corners, didn't you? Like that one there, Magello 1011, the flat out left hander. I would find it hard to lift a little bit.
Tell Jeff to beat him.
Yeah, that'd be the other part of the strategy as well.
So yeah, just waiting on these drivers at the back catching up. Seeing got Pender, Ake, Danny, Apex and the Looney Man still to catch up.
So quite a few, and one of them are actually really quite far away. And that's Looney Man with Pern Bowden. We didn't actually see Pern Bowden crash either.
He retired in the pit lane.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's not the reason why we had the safety car, though, is it?
No.
Why we have the safety car? Interesting.
Unless that might have been why. And I just missed it.
Not sure. Not sure, to be honest. So I don't think. Oh, we could get. No. See, at this point, I know that there's been some leagues and drivers, and I get it, that are disgruntled about drivers at the back slowing down and making sure there's another lap. But when we're in this situation right now, right here, I actually think it's better for them to wait a little bit, because you don't want the safety car coming in right at the last second.
No.
So I actually sometimes think it's good for the whole. I know it's especially towards the end, people get frustrated, obviously, if there's only a few laps left, or somewhere like Belgium maybe, because it's so few laps.
I know, I do have to agree there that sometimes it is a bit quite a bit annoying, I'll say. I mean, at like Austria, it's so quick, the safety car, it's just bing bang done. The safety car period it's just a few laps really. Whereas at tracks like Belgium, it's just so long.
Yeah, it just feels like it's going on forever, doesn't it? But I know you can't just have one lap under the safety car. It just doesn't make any sense. It's at least got to be 2.
Yeah.
We will get going at the end of this lap. The safety car will tell us it's coming in 1 or 2 corners time. And then 2 corners time, actually. I still wish we had like a extra option to have a onboard camera on the safety car looking back.
Yeah, I would say that would be quite good.
So there you go, safety car in this lap. Always ends at the start of sector 3.
Pern Bowden said he had to retire off track, no crash flags. So it could be an emergency. possibly. So, God knows. But this is us getting ready to start again. Matthew
Yep.
and the Red Bulls could be leading us away.
And we usually do start quite late, and it has started late as we're going to get back underway on lap 18. Looks like Lee Craig's got the jump on Racing Matt. Tries to go up the inside at turn 1, but then gets pushed wide at turn 2 and has to hold position as we make our way down the Retta Aposta. Of course, we won't have DRS for a little while. Is Lee Craig going to go for the lunge? No, just made sure to keep Racing Matt aware. He was right behind him. As we go to the back, we actually see Aki and Looney Man and the Pretender, who's off the track. As you see, Royal Rumble in.
Cheeky there.
That
was Looney Man. He kind of pushed the Pretender off the track there at the exit of turn 5 there. Which obviously is not very nice.
No, not very sporting.
No.
Yeah, I kind of considered something like that to almost be like when a player in football goes down injured and they don't kick the ball off the pitch for a little while.
But with our seen Chuck moving up the inside at turn 1 on the Lee Craig, he's got a superior speed down the start-finish straight, and Chuck manages to steal it, send it, and put it into 5th position up the inside at turn 1, nicely done there from the Alpha Romeo driver.
As Royal Rumble. Sorry, Lee.
Royal Rumble around the outside of AJ Baker at turn 4. It's going to be look. Hasn't managed to get it done.
Racing Matt has dropped a couple of positions. Not sure if he made an error. Chuck is going to have to. It's very much a catch-22 he's in at the moment. He's got the better tyre, but he doesn't want to use the tyre too much because he won't have any when we get to the end of the race, which I'm assuming they're hoping are going to last, unless we have a safety car in between that time, and then they'll probably pit again for a fresh set, not to take the risk. But for now, as I said, they're just in a bit of a. It's definitely a bit of a difficult situation to be in. Is Matthew Jones gets past Lee Craig, but the DRS is now enabled, and Lee Craig will have the DRS to try and get that place back down the Retta Aposta and down towards turn 4, and so does Matthew Jones actually, and that means he hasn't got enough steam to get alongside Matthew Jones. And further back, Looney Man, the Alpine of Faulkner and Danny Apex all jostling for position as we go up towards Ferragula, and Danny Apex.
Sorry, Lee Craig and Racing Matt are still side by side. They've been side by side since the exit turn 5 there, sorry. And it looks like finally at turn 10, Lee Craig's managed
as Matty Jones has lost the rear and now down in 14th place. Dead silence in the commentary box as Matthew takes the fastest lap, then followed by Ginge, who is certainly putting pressure on the leader as we go through the Centre S and round the Curva de Sol and on to the Retta Aposta. As we get closer to Desida del Lago, but he isn't able to get alongside. But once again, we're going to have to wait a few laps until we see some real opportunities for overtake. Saying that, Tony Danny looking up the inside at turn 6. And the top 3 all within DRS. Lee Craig is round into the wall, is he? Has he got some damage? He's struggling to get the car back on the tarmac.
no damage.
So it looked like he's spun.
Ego.
As Matthew takes the fastest lap and has been able to pull out a bit of a gap. As he chuckles down
Just
in.
moving up on the guy Sloven there into P6.
As they now make their way down the Retta Posta. Taylor Dunny now moving up. Is he going to take 2 places before the end of the before the end of the straight? And it looks like he has done, and moved up into 6th. He's gone from 8th to 6th in 1 straight.
What a move there from Taylor Dunny.
I've noticed since yesterday, Lee. I didn't say it yesterday. I'm talking about it in a second. AJ Baker and Bugatti going side by side. As they do actually make contact. As they now...
Yes.
You see Kieran going side by side through Mugello with the Red Bull of Royal Rumble. He's going to have to try and go the long way round. And does so. I did say at the start of the stream that this race can throw up some great racing. We're already seeing it after the safety car restart. Is Chuckle now going to try and hold on to that 2nd place, but Ginge looking like he's trying to concentrate on getting the best exit out of the Curva de Sol, as he will have the DRS and just hold back for the time being. So we go further back in the field. Royal Rumble. There's a big crash. Big crash. Faulkner and Danny Apex are out. That's surely going to be a safety car. And it is. Wow.
Oh.
That was a big one.
Yep, I think Lee Craig's going to be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief right now.
I know we
all of them catch up.
I know we can't see it right now, but you can tell us. Would you go back on the stream, just let us know what happened there? Because someone hit the back of one of the Mercedes. I think it was Aki. I'm not sure who it was though. As we've got a safety car now, we have got a few minutes to find out what happened. As we've got drivers making their way into the pit lane. I think Lee's watching it now. Did you catch it yourself or not?
Just trying to see who it was. I think it was Aki hit the back of Vil, and then in turn it caused them both to sort of lose control. And then Danny Apex just got collected, same with Faulkner, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a big one. Now, interesting decisions being made. The lead drivers are now behind the safety car, and we've had, apart from Lee Craig, which I think is a strange decision, unless he doesn't think he's got another set of mediums, has not pit, but everyone from 11th to 17th, instead apart from Lee Craig, have pit for a fresh set of mediums. It was just a little too soon, Lee, wasn't it, for the soft tyre? Just 2 or 3 laps. I think 2 or 3 laps later, it would have probably been worth the risk.
Yeah, I mean, for these people at the back, I think it might be a bit more worth it. But then again, some of them might not have any soft tyres remaining. That is the question, as to whether they do or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. So I think we're going to have this lap and the next lap under the safety. Do you know what? We're going to start on lap 27. It might have been worth just some of them doing slow laps, actually. But obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing. For us, it's much easier to work that out when you're not actually driving. Soft tyres might have been a good gamble with the lap we're going to get back underway, because I don't think it's going to come in this lap. I think it'll be next. Because technically, this is the first lap under a safety car, the first full lap.
Ah, yeah. Possibly. I mean, we'll find out in just a few short moments what is going to happen.
I am quite surprised. I'm quite surprised that like Chuck and Ginge and Kieran as well and Looney Man didn't box, but of course this is sort of made their job a lot easier on that tyre to get to the end anyway, because they've sort of saved themselves 2 or 3 laps worth of safety car in this lap. So I was wrong actually. So we're going to get going on lap 26, of course, all the better for it. We get an extra lap of racing than what I thought. Anyway, so Matthew's still leading the way, Lee.
Yep.
So he has restarted the last safety car. He went at just about the entrance to the pit lane. So about here, about that striped markings there. He's got Chuckle right alongside him there, putting huge amounts of pressure on him. He goes a bit later than he did last time. He doesn't want to give them all a tow into turn 1. It's Chuckle and Ginge jostling for the position. I think Ginge took it slightly too early before the restart line. And as we go slightly further back, Lee Craig just slotting in behind the Ferrari, and it was very close for some contact between the two of them. AJ Baker on the outside here as we go down to see the Largo, and he's going to try and go around the outside. In tall order to be able to do that, you're going to have to have a lot stored up in your locker to get that done. But always just ahead, Lee Craig is now spun out on the infield. He made contact, I think, with Royal Rumble. I don't think he realised he was there. And he's got a big hill to get up here. I think he's out.
He is. I think he's been disqualified.
Oh, that is an absolute... That's a disaster. It's Racing Matt trying to go around the outside of Magello as we go into Young Cal. He gets on the brakes much later. There he goes. The Alpha Tauri is up into 12th place. This race, Lee, has not been short of some absolutely fantastic overtakes.
Yep, definitely. As I'm seeing Matty Jones having a wee look around the outside the Royal Rumble at turn 1, which is going to end up turning into the inside of turn 2. And there
he gets that done as well.
Like glove gets it done.
Yeah, that fitted really rather nicely, didn't it? As AJ Baker, you've got a quick car in a straight line. That Williams not got so much drag. He's going to try and go around the outside now. It's the moves of the afternoon as he's still on the outside. Another great overtake on the outside. I'm almost buzzing watching these overtakes. This is absolutely amazing. As we get further back, we've got Racing Matt trying to go up the inside as he went into turn 8, as he's now trying to hold it around the outside at turn 9. He's still alongside in their wheel to wheel as they go into turn 10 before turn 11 and Magello, and he's got the move done.
Nicely done there.
Lee, have you seen as many great overtakes as this in a long time? I can't remember. I always praise how good RTG is. It's very good, but this is something else at the moment.
Oh, Aki.
Oh, Aki.
No, that is bull.
What's happened there? I didn't see, sorry.
He's got a 10-second penalty for corner cut when he spun out.
Oh,
I will say the penalties on this game sometimes are bull.
Yeah, well, you've already sworn already today, Lee. I don't really mind all that much, but not potentially there's children watching. It's AJ Baker. If your kids are watching, this is how you try and attempt an overtake around the outside of Ferrajula. Wow. What is going on? It seems like the outside line is the superior line. It's Racing Matt tries to go up the inside at turn 10. It's going to be on the outside at Magello, but this time, rarity in this race. He hasn't been able to hold it around the outside. As we now go out of Young Cal and climb and ascend all the way up to the start-finish line as we get to the Senna S. They both have the DRS. Racing Matt, though, on a quick car in a straight line as he's going to take the inside as they go into turn 1. Runs wide, so he will run Bugatti wide, but he gets up into that 10th place.
It was just watching Vilder managing to get past Royal Rumble there at turn 1. It looks like Royal Rumble's coming back at turn 4. Just having a look at the inside, but unfortunately no dice. He's looking at it again at turn 6. Is he going to manage to get it done? No, he isn't, just not enough alongside.
So we're on lap 29. We have had 2 safety cars in this race, but it doesn't feel like we've had sort of 40 minutes of racing as we make our way into the final braking zone of the lap with on board with Matty Jones as he powers up the hill. We have got the top 4 lead. We haven't spoken about the top 4 for quite a long time. Such a shame only one person's watching the stream right now. This is an epic race. Audio again. As I said, I'm going to make sure I turn that off at the end. AJ Baker getting up the trumpet of Matty Jones as his rear light is flashing away, indicating, well, they really all don't have any battery left, and it's not a surprise as overtakes have been going on pretty much every corner on every lap since the safety car restart. But this is excitingly the top 4 are all in contention.
I reckon quite possibly Triple might get this, as he has got quite a lot of battery left. It's only him and the Pretender are the only people that have properly got a lot of battery left. So we could end up seeing a move from one of them two quite soon.
AJ Baker gets overtaken by Prof there as he made a big mistake. Ali Young Callach, he takes the fastest lap of the race. No surprise there, he's the only driver on the soft tyre. He is a lapped car though, as we have just under 5 laps to go in this race, and the top 2 have just broken away again. That could be crucial for the rest of the race. Matthew on lap 31 took the pole position and has just been solid all race long. Hopefully, touch wood for him, he's able to keep it in a straight line and not do his usual thing, which obviously he must be furious about. But the adrenaline must now start to be building in that man, knowing that he's only got just over 4 laps to go.
Yep, so it's not much left in terms of time, so here's hoping he'll be able to hold on, but I think he's seen Kieran there make a small slip up there coming out of turn 12, turn 13. This is allowing Prof to catch right up into the DRS.
Yeah, and there's a load of cars.
AJ Baker.
Aren't it? Yeah, as you said, and AJ Baker. Kieran now trying to go back up the inside and take back that position. We've got a lap car in between them. There's contact between the Williams and the Mercedes. The Williams now goes around the outside of the curve of Dassault. The Williams goes around the outside of the curve of Dassault. And as we go into turn 4, Royal Rumble trying to go up the inside, does have the inside line as we get onto the brakes. Very close together, not much between them. There was a bit of a jolt of the steering wheel from the McLaren, but it means that Royal Rumble now moves up into 13th place. As at Ferragula, the McLaren of Looney Man now goes back up the inside as we make our way into turn 8. And he's delivered it. He's got that overtake done, but he's still having to defend. It's not a clear-cut case just yet as we now make our way through Mugello with the drivers at the very back of the field. And racing Matt now. Really starting to look like he's speeding past as we've got a yellow flag. That's the Pretender who has just lost it at the final corner. And Kieran's ran. I'd not. Is now Chuckle takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix in the Thursday tier. But is he going to be able to hold on to this, or is Matthew going to be able to keep up? I'm actually feeling like I'm starting to lose my voice. Yeah.
Matty Jones and Prof are
Whoa.
side by side right now. Still haven't been side by side for a couple of corners.
Oh, who's that?
Seeing Ake around.
Oh, he's really not had a good race. He's really not had a good race.
But this racing Matt up the inside of Matty Jones there in the Haas. But he unfortunately doesn't manage to make the move count. AJ Baker, the highest climber in this race, up 9 places from 15th.
Yeah, and as we've only got 3 laps to go, Matthew must have made some sort of mistake because he's almost 2 seconds behind now in second place and has got Ginge behind him. But I will say this, Lee. Hopefully these words don't bite me, bite us. Getting to that point about talking about driver of the day, for me, Matthew's gonna have my vote today.
I'm saying AJ. Up to now, I mean, managing got up that far and just, yeah.
Well, we'll have a discussion on the last lap about it, as Matthew does still have to contend, and I will say this: as Aki retires, and he would have got some points. I can imagine, or a point. I can imagine why he's retired. Quite frustrated with his race today, and potentially the setup hasn't worked for him. He's just having a bit of an off day. But the Alfa Romeo team, Lee, getting some tremendous points today, if they stay where they are.
Oh yeah.
So we're on the penultimate lap now, and those medium tyres look like they have lasted. As you say, it's difficult. AJ Baker, I've been rooting for Matthew for quite a while, hoping he would get a podium place. Really wanted him to get the win today. I think he did deserve it. I don't think that's going to happen.
Battling it out.
Yeah, just about to say it. As I went back to them, are they going to carry this on into Veragula? I don't think so. They just carry on single file. We've got a lap and a half to go in this race. Matthew has got one more turn 1 to defend against Ginge, who is only just under half a second behind, and will have the DRS and is closing. He's gaining on that Red Bull and gets very close to the back of the Red Bull. Both on the same age of tyre. They pitted on the same lap under that first safety car. Matthew hasn't tried to defend aggressively to the inside. He's lost the position for the moment. Ginge has the inside lines. He makes his way into turn 4, and as we go out of turn 5 and up towards turn 6, he's now into second place. It's third place for Matthew as it stands. And I think we're going to have to do a last bit of the race because I need a drink.
Yeah, the thing I will say, it was a little bit cheeky with Ginge. Didn't leave Matthew a lot of room there. But we'll have a wee quick look because I've still seen some cars quite close together. So we're still going to end up having some DRS. Just Matthew going to manage to be able to climb the flat.
Just before we do that, Lee, we'll just watch Chuckle make his way across the start-finish line. He was in second for the majority of the race, but where it counted, he came up to the top, and he wins once again in the Thursday tier, 2 in a row.
Baker's making a move on his teammate.
Oh, as he drags him to the line.
His teammate. 13 thousandths of a second.
Wow.
He gets past his teammate right at the last second.
Oh, there is a traffic jam now on the start-finish straight into Lagos. And yeah, so our top 3 was Ginge and Matthew, and then you saw AJ drag Taylor Danny to the line there and get past his teammate, reminiscent of 2019, the Toro Rosso of Pierre Gasly and the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, that was.
Yep, I do remember that.
So yeah, I'll agree with you tonight. I think I would have, still a very good honourable mention for me. I think if Matthew had got second place, I would have been really stuck in a corner giving it to Matthew, but because he lost that final place, I will go with your decision this week on both days actually, and yeah, AJ Baker.
Yeah, we've got to say, incredible race there from all racers out there today.
But yeah, big shout out to Matthew for getting on the podium this week.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a wee quick rundown of the finishing order. We're seeing Chuckle managing to pull it out of the bag at the end. Same with Ginge moving up to P2. So Matthew came home in P3, Chuck was in P4. AJ Baker managing to just get past his teammate there for P5 by 13 thousandths of a second. Less than the blink of an eye there. So 7th was Prof. Vil was 8th, 9th was Matty Jones, Racing Matt was 10th, Bugatti Slovan in 11th, Looney Man in 12th, 13th was Royal Rumble, Kieran in 14th, Tender in 15th, and I think if I remember right, Aki did DNF.
Retired,
also,
but I think they've classed him because he was. Oh no, I think no, he has DNF'd.
No. Unfortunately, he got the fastest lap, so I'm not sure if that's going to go to him or not. But so yeah, Ake, Lee Craig, Faulkner, and Danny Apex and Per Bowden all did not finish this race.
So, as we have a few days of respite now of live league racing, but before then we'll have the moment of the week video either tomorrow or Saturday. It will be either every week, it'll be Friday or Saturday, so depending on when standings come out, but it will be at 6 o'clock either day. So hit the notification bell for when that video comes out. I've got a feeling that I'm going to struggle with a couple of the decisions. Lee, I might have to ask you to help me out with some of the orders, because there were so many today that today's race could have just took all 5 of them, but can't do that. It's not very fair on the other 2 days, so that won't be the case. So you might have to help me with that. But yeah, check that out on either tomorrow or Saturday. Probably more likely to be tomorrow, hopefully. And then on Monday, we're at Australia, as I said, for the sprint with Short Marcus, taking the helm for that one for that short qualifying session. Thanks very much again for getting us to 300 subscribers. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm sure he does as well. So, as I said, check out that video over the weekend, and then we'll be back with you with Short Marcus on Monday, and me and Lee will be back next Wednesday night for the Wednesday tier for the 3rd round at, and I said this yesterday, so I should have blooming remembered it. Where is it, Lee? Come on. You do.
I forget, jeez.
It's Abu Dhabi next Wednesday, and then next week, I know this on a Thursday, so if you had a good one this week, we've had a good one this week in Brazil, and we do so next week. It's Bahrain for round 3, and another usual great race for league racing. It's one of the best tracks for it, as well as this one. So hopefully we'll have as good a race as we did this week. This certainly has been the overtaking round the outside race of the season so far. Saw so many of them. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, put those notification bell on to check out the Moments of the Week video and the highlight videos throughout the week. Thank you very much. It's goodbye from me and from Lee.